Labour U-turn on £5 billion benefits crackdown as Keir Starmer and Liz Kendall prepare to backtrack on cutting disabled people's payments. The government is scheduled to announce a series of welfare reforms next week, which would result in approximately 1 million individuals losing their disability payments, as Labour seeks to address the escalating benefits expenditure of the country. Ministers have indicated that in the future, only the most severely disabled individuals will qualify for support amid an overhaul of the eligibility criteria. Among the proposed reductions is a freeze on the Personal Independence Payment, PIP, effectively resulting in real-term cuts, which could have constituted a substantial portion of the overall savings estimated between £5 billion and £6 billion. The significant reform would entail a reduction in payments for individuals with long-term conditions, those facing mobility challenges, individuals with mental health disorders, those requiring hearing assistance, and people who struggle with fundamental daily activities. Downing Street had also previously cautioned that without intervention, benefits would consume more taxpayers' money and confine more individuals to a life of unemployment and inactivity. Subscribe to our channel to be the first to be notified whenever we release a new video. However, despite these warnings, the reform was postponed for a week, despite the absence of any entries in the government's agenda amid rumors of an intra-party revolt and intense negotiations behind the scenes. And now, The Observer and Sunday Times suggest that a freeze on PIP for disabled individuals next spring may now be reconsidered. Concerns arose that a number of MPs opposed the reforms, with ministers reportedly feeling unsettled after accusations from politicians of proposing unfair measures that even former Tory Chancellor George Osborne had criticised. Sir Keir Starmer had previously maintained that cuts to benefits were urgently required as the welfare bill is skyrocketing. 1 million individuals were poised to lose their disability payments amid Labour's cost-cutting measures on benefits, leading to significant unrest within the party. During an episode of his podcast Political Currency with former Labour Shadow Chancellor Ed Balls, Osborne expressed his belief that it would not be viewed as very fair to reform PIP, adding, "What I attempted to do was reform PIP." Additionally, several prominent Labour figures reportedly opposed the current proposals, including Starmer's deputy, Angela Rayner, and Energy Secretary Ed Miliband. Many have also voiced their objections to cuts to PIP specifically, which leaders of disability charities have labeled as deeply damaging, devastating, and a disastrous move, with dozens of MPs believed to have utilized private meetings to advocate for reconsideration of the plans. According to The Observer, a cabinet meeting was convened last Tuesday where numerous participants expressed concerns regarding how the government would be perceived if they did not adjust PIP in accordance with inflation and simultaneously made it more difficult to qualify. In order to freeze PIP or amend the eligibility requirements for the benefit, Labour would need to modify primary legislation, placing them at risk of a potential Labour revolt at Westminster, both in the Commons and the Lords. Numerous Labour MPs have also expressed that they would not support any of the proposals should it come to a parliamentary vote, as reported by The Observer. However, Keir Starmer remained resolute regarding his proposals last week, making a personal appeal to persuade Labour MPs to endorse him on the benefits cuts while recalling how his late mother and brother managed disabilities. He criticized the current indefensible welfare system as he faced challenges over potential cuts during Prime Minister's questions last Wednesday. Labour MPs condemned the initiative, including Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner, who voiced concerns in Cabinet. Cutting the benefits of the most vulnerable in our society who cannot work to fund that is not a viable solution. Labour's crackdown on benefits aims to cut disability payments for 1 million people, as Starmer encounters backlash from MPs. He informed MPs, "I hail from a family that dealt with a disability through my mother and brother over many years. I do comprehend the concerns that have been articulated, but we have inherited a system that is broken. It is indefensible, both economically and morally, and we must and will reform it. We shall establish clear principles, and we will safeguard those who require protection. We will also assist those who can work, reintegrating them into the workforce, but Labour is the party of work. We are also the party of equality and fairness." Later in that session of PMQs, Sir Keir was urged by Labour backbencher Richard Burgon to make the moral decision and implement a wealth tax. This was suggested in place of making the poor and vulnerable bear the burden by reducing benefits for disabled individuals, the left-wing MP added. The proposed reforms have included eliminating the work capability assessment for benefits based on incapacity for work and preparing individuals with long-term illnesses for employment. Ms. Kendall was also anticipated to reduce the top rate of benefits for those classified as unfit for work, which currently exceeds £800 per month, twice the job seekers rate. Chancellor Rachel Reeves stated on Friday that the government must get a grip on the system. However, significant alterations to the eligibility criteria for PIPs, which are disbursed regardless of whether the individual is working, would have constituted the majority of the changes. The government indicated that implementing those particular changes is not deemed desirable, yet remains necessary, given that the projected cost of PIPs is anticipated to increase by £15 billion in real terms by 2030. Ministers have reportedly continued to negotiate with the budget watchdog as they determine how much of the £5 billion savings can be allocated to prevent the government from enacting further cuts or increasing taxes this month. However, it is acknowledged that a portion of the savings is intended to elevate the basic rate of universal credit and to establish a significant £1 billion package for employment support. This initiative was previously characterized as a moral action by the government, aimed at facilitating and incentivizing individuals to enter the workforce. PIPs, the primary source of controversy within the package, are currently allocated based on a points system, where applicants are evaluated according to the difficulty they experience with certain daily and mobility-related tasks. The total number of points awarded will dictate the grant amount received, which ranges from £1,500 to £9,600 annually. Nonetheless, Labour had intentions to mandate that applicants achieve a minimum of 4 points in at least one activity to qualify for consideration for a payment, as the need for a hearing aid does not meet this threshold. Keir Starmer previously asserted at a contentious meeting of the Parliamentary Labour Party that British citizens were being incentivized against work. Individuals needing assistance to wash their hair or body below the waist would not qualify for support. Conversely, those requiring help to wash their upper body would qualify. Requiring assistance to use the toilet would fulfill the criteria, whereas needing reminders to utilize it would not. The necessity of reminders to engage in face-to-face interactions would not receive backing, while needing help to actually conduct those interactions would. Applicants who attain the requisite 4 points for consideration would subsequently need an additional 4 points to qualify for the lower rate and another 8 points to achieve the higher rate. Altering the eligibility criteria in such an exclusive manner is also expected to adversely affect those with mental health conditions, who comprise 37% of new PIP awards, an increase from 28% prior to the pandemic. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.